Yay. So as we start, we have a lot of people that are on the call and they are amazing speakers and we have a lot to share. So make sure you have a pen and paper ready in case you want to take notes. And I will just immediately get into this. So I'm going to start off with our etiquette here as people join in for the meeting. Everybody here is welcome. So please be kind. We're all here to be supportive and help each other. If you see an error, a typo, please kindly correct and assume positive intent, not only in this meeting, but from those around you as you leave this meeting. Many of us, many nonprofits, many organizations, cities and counties, they're all stretched very, very thin because we have to adhere to COVID guidelines and protocols, and people are isolating, which makes it really difficult to do the job that we need to do. So if there are errors, please be kind about it. And just kindly correct us because we all have positive intent here. The webinar features, if you have questions, so please use the Q&A to ask questions. It's a way that we can monitor those questions. If you ask them in the chat, they might get lost. We will be using the chat feature to share links to important things that we want to share. And everything is going to be archived on our Creative Economy Meeting page on our website. So on our chat, please share your ideas, your struggles. If there's anything that you want to share that you think our representatives need to know, please share it on the chat, because we will archive this and we will compile it so we have something helpful to share with our representatives so they can use. Because right now, decisions are being made how certain monies should be used. So your input is very vital and important. Land acknowledgement. I was hoping, we acknowledge that we are on territory of the Nisnan people, as well as potentially unrecognized tribes. We honor the people and elders here today, the ancestors and people who died in genocides past and present. We also acknowledge people of African descent brought to this country and indigenous land whose labor and bodies have been and still are exploited and brutalized. We honor their ongoing resistance to genocide and colonization. We recognize our position as ancestors of colonizers benefiting materially and physically from genocide. This resources was taken here from the Sacramento.org. Please check them out. You can find a lot of resources, and they have a great map that you can use to see where you are and what tribe and everything else. So please use that resource. Oh, let me point the slide. Oops. So we're the Atrium. We're a nonprofit. We're a creative innovation center for sustainability. We have a bunch of programs that we do. We have resources. So in between our creative economy meetings, we have these resources that we share so you can utilize and find grants that are available. We have our creative economy meetings. These are meetings that we share on available grants, what's happening on advocacy efforts, and just connecting you with different organizations that are locally here that can help you, that you should know about and utilize. Advocacy is something I'm going to show you in just a bit. Upcycle Pop Art Market, that's our eco art market. We used to do these big Upcycle Pop events just on the holidays, and now we do them every Saturday in Old Sacramento. These are small eco art festivals, little markets. Co-working lab, we have 4 resident artist studios that we have available. We have an artist studio becoming available this month. So if you are interested, go to our website, click on co-working lab and apply there. Sacramento.shop is our online marketplace for locally made, eco-friendly Sacramento-made items. And now we also have a retail space. So it's also a retail experience space that you can come play our piano, and it's an art cafe where we serve art, not food, meaning we will serve you on a golden platter, a canvas and paints and brushes, and refill your paints and water. And so you can experience some art and shop locally. Lots of fun. Recycle Challenge, we have art installations that we go around with festivals. These are art installations that educate on our recycling crisis that we have. So this one, we currently have a recycling crisis, and we have other environmental woes that we need to educate people on. And so we do that through art. And we believe that through art, we can educate and make a big change. And we have our TV series production. which is our Citizens of Planet Earth, which is a TV series that will air on KVIE and hopefully other locations. We are currently not accepting new submissions for that. We are connecting our artists with professional videographers to create the content. And this is all to showcase the importance of creativity and how that is the seed of innovation, and also encompassing that with sustainability. So with our advocacy page, just to make things easy for advocacy for everybody, because I know we tell people to advocate, and so you can advocate on your own, we created a page called Advocacy on our website, where you can really see who, in the county, you can email anybody in the city, anybody in your city. I just built this today, so hopefully I'll be able to expand on this and get more resources on this page as we go. But I just wanted to make it really easy to advocate at any time. So if you're like, you know what, I'm struggling with something, I need people to know, you can email all your representatives and do that. That's your right to do, and you should do it as often as you feel you need to. Because for the squeaky wheel, if you're not telling them that you're having an issue, they won't know. If you don't share that amazing idea that you have that would solve the world's problems, they won't know. So here's their information. It's easy to access. Please use it. Okay, so the agenda for today, Lily was supposed to do a land acknowledgement. She's our we just hired a new gallery associate, and she is Native American, and we were hoping she would do a land acknowledgement, but she couldn't make it today. We have the amazing queen of advocacy, Julie Baker from Californians for the Arts, who is going to tell us all about what's happening kind of like on the state level and everything. Andrew from the City of Sacramento, the mayor's office, he's going to give us an update on what's happening with the city side and the money that we advocated for, the 10 million. Melissa is going to talk about the opportunities, the teaching artists opportunities that are available, and that's really, really exciting. Debbie from California Capital, she's going to talk about how you can sign up to be a free, get free mentorship to help build your businesses, help get your creative businesses up and running, and even get government contracts. So Tia with Feminism, this is a wonderful organization I think you should know about. Phil from Capital Creative Alliance. I don't see him on the call yet, but hopefully he'll join in a bit. And Tara, who is our dessert for tonight, is going to be telling us about the California grants. And these are, if you earned $1,000 in 2019, you could get $5 grand from the state right now. So she's going to give you all the details on that, and then we'll have Q&A. So please ask your questions in the Q&A, and then we'll wrap. So without further ado, I'm going to hand this off to the amazing Julie Baker. She's our queen of advocacy that really kind of has done so much for the state. And I want to say thank you so much for everything that you do. You're just a legend. Mm-hmm. And you have done things that nobody else has ever done before you. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Shira, for all the work that you've done in Sacramento, and for everybody else who's on this call, because we always say advocacy is never one person alone. It is collective, it is it is consistent, and it is not a one-time deal. So thanks for everybody who has worked with us this last year and the last several years or decades that we've been around. Californians for the Arts is a small nonprofit arts organization ourselves, a C3 that advocates and educates the public about the impact of the creative industries here in California. We also have a lobbying organization, California Arts Advocates, where we have a lobbyist in Sacramento, and we do directly try to influence legislation and funding and resources to support the creative sector and workforce. I'm going to quickly give you some wins that we've all had this year that is really due to the work that all of you have done in lifting up awareness of what has been the impact from COVID, what has been some of the infrastructure issues for our sector that COVID really highlighted in terms of the fragility for arts workers, as well as for many of our nonprofit arts organizations, and particularly in our BIPOC communities. So our work has really tried to focus on trying to not only educate, but also advocate to make sure that we have increased ongoing funding. There was an incredible year this year in terms of there was additional additional revenue at this state that they didn't anticipate, both in terms of income tax as well as from the federal government, which made it really an unprecedented year for us to get out there and say, we need funding for the arts. Now is the time. We need to value and invest in this industry. We built a coalition. It was California Arts Advocates with NEVA California, which is the National Independent Venues Association, California specific group, as well as California Association of Museums. With them, we actually built a campaign for $1 billion for investment in the arts sector over the next 3 years. And many of you, there were 5,000, close to 5,000 of you sent in letters in support of that, over 500 arts organizations, labor unions, mayors, including your mayor, Darrell Steinberg, signed onto letters saying that this was an important investment that the state needed to make. At the end of the day, when the budgets, because there were many at the state, were assigned, we saw over $600 million in investment in the creative industries. Unprecedented number, and I want to quickly highlight what those are. So as Tara is going to be talking to you later, there is a program that we also fought for earlier in the year with $50 million specifically from the California Relief Grant program to arts and culture organizations. There's a cap on the level of your revenue in this particular portion of round. In every other portion, you have a cap of $2.5 million. This one's specific to arts and culture. It was closed several months ago. In the budget that came down in July, they reopened our portion as well and doubled down and put more money into the California Relief Grant. So there's about $16 million left over for arts and culture organizations only. That is open right now. Tara will talk more about it. But if you have not received a California Relief Grant and you fit into their criteria, please apply. We do not want this money going back to the general budget when it has been allocated to arts and culture organizations. We also got $140 million to the California Arts Council, the state arts agency. You'll learn about the criteria later when Tara presents. And the state arts agency got, again, biggest bucket of funding they've ever received. Hello, baby. And we got $60 million for a California Creative Core pilot program, $40 million for a creative youth development program, and ongoing unrestricted funds of about $30 million, and then administrative funds and everything else. You need to always be tracking what the California Arts Council is doing. They have public meetings. Your voice is really important. Track what we're advocating for. And just quickly, another recent victory was that in 2021, they only allocated 22% of their funding to grant applicants. Long story short, we lobbied and advocated hard, and 1,100 of you signed a petition. This is what I'm going to always say, advocacy is collective, never us alone. And they doubled down, and they've now invested an additional $12 million immediately to get out to the sector in grants that had already been adjudicated and reviewed. So if you got a no funding letter from the California Arts Council originally, go back and check to see if you got another one. That increased grants from 580 recipients to 1,244, including Artist Fellowship Grant. Those are going to be coming out of the Yerba Buena Center that receives the grant to house that. And that increased Artist Fellowship grants from 140 to 280. Don't yet have specifics on that. But again, I'm going to put my information in the chat. You got to follow us. So we will keep you informed of all of these opportunities. And then Atrium and others amplify it for us. Also wanted to mention, there's $150 million going to come from Cal OSBA, which is Small Business Advocate, which is for live events, promoters, venues, sports teams as well. That is coming out very similar to the Shuttered Venues Operators Grant Program from the federal government. There's also $50 million coming from that same agency for small nonprofit performing arts organizations with budgets under $2 million to help you with $2 million to help you with payroll costs. This is in response to the impact of AB5 on our performing arts, small budget nonprofit arts organizations, so that they can afford to make this transition. So lots of great things coming out of the California budget. There was also an initiative called Clean California, where on a local level, artists can get involved in allocations there, which I'll also put a little bit in the chat. All of this only got approved in July, so we're just at the end of August right now. You will start to see some of these programs roll out in the next several months. Again, I'm just going to encourage you to follow us, get on our e-list so you'll know when these opportunities are available. We do lots of webinars, making sure you understand how to do it. And often we also have dedicated team members like Tara to help you with technical as you're applying for these grants. And then finally, I know it's so hard to put it all into a very short time period, and I hope I'm okay, Shira. Kick me out if you need to. I've got 2 pieces of legislation. We're really excited, or almost through. The legislature in California closes on September 10th. That's about 10 days away. All bills have to be through the process at that point. We now have 2 bills, SB 628, which is the California Creative Workforce Act, presented by Senator Allen and sponsored by our organization, California Arts Advocates. It has made it through a lot of hurdles, 6 different committees to get now to the Assembly floor this week. It'll then go to the Senate floor again because it's got an amendment. This is all too technical. And we really expect it to go to the governor's desk soon for his signature. And you're going to see some action alerts from us because we're going to need your support to make sure that the governor signs. It's the first of its kind in the nation for a state to support a creative workforce development act. And that would be opportunities for new people to engage in the creative industries with an emphasis on diversifying that workforce, with an earn and learn, paid living wage opportunities for artists. These are the things that we fight for on a daily basis, and we got it into this bill, and we hope that you'll support that. There's also SB 805 that has been championed by Senator Susan Rubio, again, in response to the impact of AB 5 on our sector. This bill is creating a paymaster system for arts organizations, small budget ones, to be able to access and aggregate your costs for creating payroll systems, workman's comp, insurance, et cetera. So that's coming hopefully and signed, but there's already an appropriation for that of $500,000. And then finally at the federal level, there's really exciting WPA for the 21st century. The Creative Economy Revitalization Act was just introduced by Congresswoman Leger Fernandez from New Mexico, and it's got bipartisan support from Congressman Jay Obernolte in Inland Empire, who's a Republican who has supported that from California, and then Senator Padilla will be introducing it in the Senate. So great California support for that, and I hope everyone will also take a look at our action alerts and send letters to your congressional representatives saying, yes, we need a WPA for the 21st century so that you can continue to have employment opportunities and we can heal our nation with the impact and beauty of what the arts can do. So thank you. That's a really quick wrap. I hope that wasn't too long of everything that's kind of highlighted right now and happening. And I think I'll put whatever I can in the chat. And I think Tara has been doing that. So thanks, Tara.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing. We already have people going, oh my God, this is going so quick. Yes, this meeting is being recorded, the chat is being archived, and the Q&As are being archived. So if you have a specific question you want answered, please use the Q&A. Thank you, Julie, so much for all the work that you are doing. Like I said, she is the queen of advocacy. She is like a queen, kind of like leading us the Pied Piper to make sure that we are all collaborative working together. And with that, talking about advocacy, I'd like to hand it off to Andrew really quick. Andrew, who works with the mayor's office here at the City of Sacramento. And Andrew, who has cute little man with him today.
I'm on baby duty. I apologize.
Go ahead. Yeah, no, take it away. All good.
Let me knock this out so he stops being a major distraction, because it's going to be hard for me to even do this here. So first of all, I wanted to say thank you so much for everyone who called into City Council, wrote into City Council. Maybe you called your council member directly, but as Julie and Shira both emphasized, advocacy works, and you are not alone. The message was heard loud and clear, and I think if you watch the council meeting, you could also sort of see how the evolution of how arts are perceived in Sacramento is starting to resonate with your elected leaders, in that arts is a critical and essential piece of our economy. It isn't just a frivolous activity that's nice to have, and arts workers are workers. And so that's really important to acknowledge. So once again, thank you for your advocacy. And the sort of follow-up to this is that what was discussed at the council meeting 2 weeks ago was the ARP funding, and that was the American Rescue Plan. The federal government passed a huge spending bill, and the county, the city, the state are all getting appropriations out of this. The city got $121 million to parse out, and the mayor made a recommendation on how to spend that $121 million, setting aside $10 million specifically for the arts over 2 years. It is not what we put in for CARES Act, but there's lots of reasons for that, which I'm not going to go directly into this evening because I want to move through this really fast. But the main thing that you need to understand is that at that council meeting where a lot of this advocacy happened, and it was very positive, it was just the first presentation and discussion of that letter. So it is actually coming back to council on probably September 14th. So that money has not been decided yet. There's no programs attached to it. But the basic idea was that the mayor put out a letter, and in the chat, I'm going to put a link to our blog where you can read the whole letter. So now the city staff has been tasked with taking that letter and turning it into a resolution that the council then can vote on up or down on approving the sort of different breakdowns of money that the mayor recommended. And there may be changes in there. So there's no time to quit advocacy. Again, it's not a one-time thing, right? You got to keep going. So if you didn't get a chance to call in for that meeting, definitely still continue to reach out to your council members. And obviously the mayor's got your back. He firmly believes that at minimum a $10 million is absolutely necessary for Sacramento's creative economy. I just want to go very briefly through the 4 buckets that's contained in that $10 million. There is capacity building for both orgs and individuals. There is funding specifically for activations, as well as facilities funding, which something that I think in a future meeting we'll have to have a much more elaborate discussion on. There is youth programming funding, which is absolutely necessary too. Yeah. And then cultural tourism support is a small portion of that. About half of it, though, is for capacity building for both individuals and organizations. So again, I encourage you to go read the letter. It's in the chat. If you need to reach out to our office, I also put my email in the chat. And then last but not least, as far as the city update goes, I will probably be communicating back out when that council meeting is confirmed. But obviously, if you just follow city council closely enough, you'll see when that gets agendized. But again, last but not least, I also wanted to mention Friday Art Break, which is a weekly feature that I do for the mayor's blog. And I'm always open to new artists that would like their work featured. So all you have to do is reach out to me at engagesac.org/contact, or you can just email me directly, and we'll get you featured on there. We'll drop that link in the chat too. And I'm gonna go now try and give him some more dinner so he stops crawling on me.
Yay. So thank you so much, Andrew. So I think one big thing is for the first time during COVID, independent creatives were supported directly through the city. I think that's a really big thing that I want to applaud the city of Sacramento for doing, because that was no small feat. It's a lot easier for the city to work with organizations that have everything already in place, but to give federal dollars to independent creative was a huge feat that the Office of Arts and Culture worked super overtime to make happen. And we're available night and day. And so just know that I think the city is here to help. Yeah, of course.
That's right. And Shira, I also want to add that, like I said at the beginning, the county is also getting ARP funds. So your advocacy can't stop with the city. You got to reach out to county representatives. Elk Grove and Rancho Cordova are their own city. I'm not telling you to go bang down their doors, but hey, it wouldn't hurt, right? And the last thing I'll just add to what Shira was saying was, that money, we had a partner in the Office of Arts and Culture that worked so hard, and I wanted to do a quick shout out because Ray Gargano is actually, I saw him in the participants list. He left the city, but he was basically the main guy that stayed up all night working on all that stuff. And we have a lot to thank for Ray working on that, and Melissa as well. So with that, I just want to say shout out to Ray. Thank you so much.
Yes, and thank you. So I'm putting in here, I want to say thank you to Ray as well, and the whole office, who really, it was outstanding work. And I don't know it was just insane. It helped so many creatives. And as we talked about advocacy for the county and Sacramento City and Rancho Cordova and Elk Grove, I'm going to add into this. So if you go to the Atrium website and under programs, there'll be a page that says advocacy. On that page, we'll have all the contacts. I'm going to continue building this out so you can reach out to your own city and reach out to the county, because just like Andrew said, they're deciding what they're going to do with the ARP funds, which is the American Rescue Program. So with that, I would like to move this on to Melissa, who's going to,
Thank you, everyone. Sorry.
thank you. I'm going to move this on to Melissa, who, thanks to her, we have now a teaching artist program. And Melissa, please take it away.
Thank you. Never follow a man with a baby when you're talking. That's probably the unwritten rule. But thanks for inviting us here tonight, Sharon. And thank you for inviting me to take a little time to talk about something completely different, which is not necessarily talking about money. It's talking about work and opportunities and growing the profession of being a teaching artist here in Sacramento. And that's what we're really trying to do with this program. So I want to talk mostly about the Any Given Child program and an opportunity that we have coming up. And for those of you who don't know what Any Given Child is, it is a program that was started by the Kennedy Center for Performing Arts in 2009, with Sacramento being the pilot city. That is when Mayor Kevin Johnson got together with the head of the Kennedy Center and decided to pilot a national program here in Sacramento. So we have the great distinction of being the first city in the country, and now there are about 25, 26 cities all over the country that do this program. And Any Given Child is really about creating or providing equity of access to arts education during the school day for students from grades K through 8. So that's what we focus on. And the way that Any Given Child works is that we contract directly with the school districts. So we don't contract with specific schools. And why we do that, again, it's an equity reason. Because if we contract with the school districts to bring art into the classrooms, then those school districts can really focus on targeting the schools where the need is the greatest, which means if you contracted with individual schools, very often it's a pay to play type of thing. And we didn't want that to happen. We wanted a program that was really going to be embedded in the schools where the need was the greatest. And I feel like we do that. It's not only Sacramento City, but it's throughout the county. And we provide arts assemblies, which are an exposure experience. So performing arts groups can go in and perform for an entire school population. And they do it during the school day. Excuse me. And then the other component of Any Given Child is the artist residency component, where a particular artist, could be a visual artist or performing artist in any discipline, actually goes into one classroom in a school and works specifically for either 6 or 10 hours with that classroom to teach their art form or to do an integrated arts lesson. So every year or every other year, we put out a general call to artists looking for new artists to work in the program. We feel like we're always trying to diversify our pool of artists. We always want to bring in new artists who are excited about the field of teaching artistry and really want to work with our students in the classroom. So we put out a call and we actually contract with the artists so that they can provide their services, and we do all the booking for the artists. So it's not something that they have to do on their own. And it's a great opportunity. And we are looking for artists this year, and we are putting together our guidelines right now. I think we should have them up online probably by next week, so very early in September. And it's an application process. We go through a public panel process where we bring educators together to look at the applicants and see really, are these applicants ready to go into a classroom and work with students? So it involves that the skill not only of being able to work with youth, but to develop a curricular lesson, to make sure that it aligns with the California VAPA standards, And those are things that they're just sort of learned pieces of the whole puzzle. So while we offer this opportunity, and why I encourage everybody at least to take a look at the guidelines if you're thinking about being a teaching artist or you've done this work before and you would just like to be part of Any Given Child, get online, look at our guidelines, email me if you have questions about whether you feel like you're ready or questions about the application process. And I'm really happy to talk with you because our goal really is to build a community of teaching artists here in Sacramento that can make a living by being teaching artists, and it can help support their craft and it helps support the other work that they do, but that being a teaching artist is a profession that we really want to support. So in addition to offering Any Given Child, we are going to offer a lot of professional development this year for artists who are really dipping their toes into teaching artistry or feel like they've done teaching in another setting, but have never done it in a classroom and would just like to learn how to develop a curricular lesson plan. We are working with artists and our professional development providers to really help you through that whole process so that you can build those skills, because Any Given Child isn't the only game in town. There's so many opportunities to work with youth in our schools. We have the Sacramento Healthy Hearts and Minds program. That's also another residency program in schools. I feel like the County Office of Education is going to invest heavily into this program and into other arts education programs in the next couple of years. So we really want to make sure that we have the teaching artists to do the work that needs to be done. So I just encourage you to please, I'm going to put it in the chat, sign up to get information from us. And the webinar is it's on our website, and I'll put the link to the webinar.
Perfect.
So you can get all the details. And I'm not going to lie, this is going to be a tough year for teaching artists in the schools. I mean, we all know what's going on and how hard it is for schools to determine how they're going to let teaching artists back in and what they're going to do with people who are coming in from outside. So it's probably going to start late. It's going to be a tougher year, but because it's a tough year, we need your help more than ever. We need teaching artists to get into these schools. These students probably have never needed art as much as they need it now. We all know that. And I think the schools are behind it. They understand what art has been able to do for these students over the last year. So expect opportunities to come probably more towards the spring than in the fall. But I think it's going to be a good year, and I really encourage you all to take a look at this if you're interested. So, and I'll put it all in the chat.
Yay! Thank you so much, Melissa. So, guys, if you are interested in teaching, and I think the Healthy Minds program is, and I know many of you are interested in that program specifically. If you are in special ed, I think that is something. So please look it up. Melissa's going to share all the links in the chat.
Yeah, I just want to emphasize that there'll be if you apply for help, if you apply for Any Given Child, there's also a box you can check if you're interested in Healthy Hearts and Minds as well.
Yay! I know a couple of people that are really interested in that. So I'm going to move on because I know we don't have much time. So I want to say thank you, Melissa, for being on here. Melissa, is there anything else you wanted to share before we move on from Megan that you wanted to share?
No, I mean, just be on the lookout. We will be having grant guidelines coming out probably in the fall. We want to have support for individual artists. We're going to have support for nonprofit arts organizations. We're trying to make sure that we cover all of the need, or as much of the need as we can in the arts community, but we just don't have, we're just not ready yet. So it's
okay. So I'm just going to kind of say that right now, so there are two buckets, just for those that get a little bit confused. There's the regular budget from the city, which is the 2-point-something million that the city allocated, that the city is going to put out some grants that are going to help creatives. And then there's an additional round of grants that are going to come out, and that comes from the ARP. So you're going to see two different rounds. Am I getting that right, Melissa? Two different rounds of grants, or are they going to be all bundled in one?
No, I don't think it'll be bundled in one. I mean, we're going to try to create a scenario where people are going to have to apply to multiple different programs. We want to make it as easy as possible, but we don't know what's going to happen with the ARP funds and what restrictions might be placed on them. So I can't really say what's going to happen with those funds at all until they've made some decisions around that. And we are trying to streamline our other processes as well, and to make sure that there's a period of time under which people can apply. So something in the fall, something in the spring. And
Perfect.
hopefully we can come back to you in the next couple of meetings and give you more information.
That would be great. Okay, so there will be 2 rounds, one in the fall, one in the spring, hopefully. Really exciting. So there'll be grants coming along. So just prepare for grant season, which I like to call fall. Okay, so we're going to move on. To a wonderful organization that I really love, and this is California Capital. This is a wonderful resource that independent creatives can use to build their businesses. And what I mean by that is that they can make sure that you are set up properly as a business, so you have access, easy access to additional stuff and grants and loans. And they can also help you with getting government contracts. You know, don't think that because you're an artist, you always thought like, well, how do I get all these contracts? Government contracts is something that artists can use and apply, and it's a great income source for creatives. California Capital can help. So I'd like to introduce you to the executive director, Debbie Muramoto. Debbie, are you here?
I am here. Good evening, everybody. And Shira, thank you very much for inviting me. I am starting my 5-minute timer here, so I make sure I stay within my time. But first of all, I want to make sure you all know that one of the attendees tonight is Paula Alex McCracken. She's actually on my staff and a member of our PTAC procurement specialist team. So when you talk about government contracts, please send Alex a message to the chat so she can reach out to you. So thanks for attending, Alex. I'm Debbie Muramoto. I'm President and CEO of California Capital Financial Development Corporation. We are getting ready to celebrate our 40th anniversary. California Capital is a nonprofit organization that provides all things business development and access to capital. We are a women's business center that provides a number of resources, training, one-on-one counseling, and all of our services are free. As Shira mentioned, we are a procurement technical assistance center under which Alex is one of our procurement specialists. And if you're interested in looking into government contracting or any type of government contracting, whether it's local, state, or federal government, contact Alex. And then we have our access to capital programs. We have a number of programs. We have a Jumpstart microloan program for startup businesses that are $500 to $10,000. We have other microlending programs that are up to $150,000. And then we are the administrator of the state of California's Small Business Loan Guarantee Program. So there are a number of avenues for access to capital, and we would welcome the opportunity to be able to guide you in any way needed to help you start or grow or formally develop your business and make sure it is created in a way that is workable for you and your life, because I think all of us are well aware that we wear many, many hats in our lives. So I will put our website address into the chat. And I want to let you know that if you go to our website, there will be 3 portals. One for our Women's Business Center, if you're looking for business resources, workshops, one-on-one counseling. There is our PTAC portal, if you're looking for government contracting assistance, and then our lending center, if you are looking for access to capital. And if you will submit your intake into one of those portals or all 3, if you need services of all 3, somebody will be contacting you to assist you in any way you need assisting. So I will leave it there. I think I did it within 5. I think I have 2 minutes left. So again, thank you, Shira, very much. I appreciate the opportunity. And I'll put our website in the chat.
Yes, thank you so much, Debbie. And I just want to say, please use, they have so many free resources. They have so many free classes. So if you need all the boring stuff that us creatives hate to do, like hate, despise to do, they help you with that stuff. If that's your taxes, making sure your taxes is set up, your business insurance is set up. They have free legal clinics, and we even share some of their legal clinic times. So if you ever need to talk to an attorney, you can set up a free time to talk to an attorney with them. You can set up one-on-one to get business counseling. See if you're set up, how you should go. How should you develop your business, your creative business, your idea that you have? These are the people to talk to. It is a free resource. Please take advantage of it and sign up. Sign up to be one of their clients. It's free and it's wonderful. So with that, I will move on to a next organization that I really want to support. That I think, you know,
Shira,
yes.
I just say one more thing. Thank
Yeah.
you for saying that. Yes, it is a boring process, and we promise to bore you to business success.
Thank you so much. I think it's just important because us creatives just don't really like to do all that stuff, but it needs to be done. And you will see as you apply for grants, all these things need to be done so we can apply quickly for grants and get all the things that we need to. So getting our ducks in a row is really hard because we want to be making and building and artistically doing stuff. But this stuff is really important. Okay, the next organization I want to support, we're going to do this really quick because we have so much still to get to, is Feminism. So Tia, please take it away, Feminism.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tia. I am on the organization called Feminism. Thank you so much for having us, Shira. Debbie, I'd love to connect with you. We are a Sacramento-based nonprofit. We're made up a group of women who came together to help creatives, small business owners, entrepreneurs, and women that are in business find resources, funding, tips, and tools for health and wellness, and opportunities for their businesses or passion projects. I will put our website in the chat. As I said, we're a nonprofit. We provide a free monthly virtual networking session where you can come and share anything that you are working on, any projects that you have coming up that you need support with. You can also connect with other business owners, other creatives, other entrepreneurs on this virtual networking that can offer their support. So it's a two-way street. You can come and say that you need support and get support in collaborations, as well as give support resources and collaborations. We also have a free monthly virtual wellness session that we have a licensed family marriage therapist come on. You can come on once a month and ask any questions that you have in relation to mental health. We notice as an organization that many of our creatives just trying to get through COVID, it has been taxing on a lot of people. So we made this program so that you can come and get mental health services and wellness tips and resources anonymously, or you can join the call in the group and just stay up to date on wellness tips and resources. We also offer free workshops. We also share any other community nonprofits and organizations that offer free workshops. So you can look on our calendar and see anything that's in the Sacramento area in the way of creatives, workshops, resources, and programs. I will put our website in the chat. And again, thank you so much for having us. This is a pleasure to be here.
Sorry, I muted myself. Thank you, Tia. I already put your website in the chat. Please reach out to them. They are amazing. Our next group, is Capital Creative Alliance. Phil, would you like to take it away?
Oh yeah, thank you. Thanks for everyone. So fascinating to hear everyone share about their organizations, and I'm excited to share about the Capital Creative Alliance. I'm Phil Trethewey, board president of the Capital Creative Alliance. This is a combination of 4 different groups that previously existed. Creativity Plus, which I co-founded and ran for the last 4 or 5 years. COVID has blurred my sense of time, sorry. And then Design Sacramento, which puts on Design Week Sacramento. Then Sac Desco, which is Sac Design Collective, and Roseville UX UI. And so, as you can see, a lot of design-oriented groups, as well as Creativity Plus is founded by designers, but also really tries to bring creativity and design thinking to the business world and the general world. So during COVID, we came together to form the Capital Creative Alliance, and our mission is to champion and inspire creativity, our creatives, to make Sacramento a better place. We believe in creativity. We believe in adding creative thought and process to everything, to everyone from, Andrew at the city to a developer somewhere else. We want creatives not to be the icing on the cake. We want creatives to be involved from the very day one. We decide what ingredients go into the cake.
Yeah, I'm clapping here.
That's core to what we want to do. I'll run down a really quick. So it's a new organization. We want to run down kind of how we're doing things. So if anyone wants to get engaged, you can reach out and we'll post information. But 3 main pillars here: workforce, education, and community. Under workforce, we do mentorship programs. And so we currently are running a 6-month mentorship program for young designers coming out of school to make sure they stay in the Sacramento region and get connected in successful careers. And so we're mentoring young designers and giving them skills and advice and pairing them with mature designers here in the creative community. Also be offering office hours and portfolio review for younger designers to get advice, independently of the mentorship program, whether you didn't make it into that or not. We had a great showing for that mentorship program. As well as showcases. So we want to showcase what goes on in the Sacramento creative community. In the past, like during COVID, we did a showcase of interior designers. We just want to highlight, not a lot of people think, oh, there's amazing interior designers in Sacramento, but yes, there are. There's amazing illustrators in Sacramento. We do a showcases of amazing illustrators, amazing resources for videography and photography. So trying to highlight creative industries throughout Sacramento. Our in the education realm, Design Scouts. We have a program for 5th through 12th grade students. So really trying to get more diverse and different creatives into our pipeline, our talent pipeline for the creative design industry. Skill camps, workshops, pretty self-explanatory, right? Teaching you how to do cool stuff in the world of creativity and design, as well as lecture series, and also some live design sessions where we help a local business with a design solution live on the spot. Kind of fun stuff.
So Phil, how can people reach out to you? What kind of can you provide artists that they should do? Like, I know you have your creativity plus meetings.
Yes.
How can people reach out?
So a few ways you can reach out. So if any of these things I described sound interesting to you, please reach out, because they're not all staffed with volunteers, right? COVID did a number on volunteerism, right? We all kind of stayed home for quite a long time. We're motivated by being together. And so getting engaged with these, if they're interesting to you, please do that. If also on the community front, we are doing a podcast series. If you want to be featured on a podcast, we're trying to highlight different creatives in our community. We put them on for a 30 to 45-minute podcast episode. And so you can reach out to me if you're interested in being featured on that. Even any of your organizations who service creatives, we'd love to interview you and have you on the podcast to champion what you're doing for the creative community in the region. So there's a lot of different ways. And then one more thing, we're putting on Design Week Sacramento again. It's back live and virtual in October. So October 18th to 23rd is Design Week. And we hope to see a lot of people out there just together as a community, celebrating design in all of its forms, graphic and more, I should say.
Thank you, Phil. You are awesome. And please connect with the organization, especially if you're a designer. Design Week Sacramento is an awesome thing. Thank you, Phil, for being here. I am going to move things on, and sorry, I'm kind of plowing through things.
Good.
I want to make sure that we are staying on task. And now for what a lot of people are here for is like the grants. There is money out there for you to take. And if you have not yet gotten your $5,000 or $25,000, depending how much you made in 2019, if you have not gotten your grant from the state, Tara here is to tell you how you're going to get your money. Tara.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm going to quickly talk about the California Relief Grant Round 8, because I think most of you are more interested in grants available to independent artists as your own business, but I'll quickly talk about Round 8, which is for nonprofits. It is the only existing round where there is no cap on your revenue, and so it's for nonprofits. that fall into a specific category or specific NACES codes. If you'd like more information about that, you can email me. There's also a recorded webinar on that on our website that we'll put into the chat. We'll put the link in the chat so you can find that. Round 8 will close on September 8th. So if you're interested in that, please reach out to me as soon as possible and we'll get that into you. Round 9, however, opens on September 9th and it will close on September 30th, excuse me. We will begin having webinars on September 7th. I will have a webinar a week through September 23rd. So if you are, or if you know an art related business, somebody that has their own business and they're art related, or somebody who is an independent contractor, an individual artist that is filing their taxes in 2019 as with a Schedule C as a business, they do qualify to apply. And that's what we're focusing on targeting for round 9. The grants, the minimum requirement is that you've made at least $1,000 in either your business or as an independent contractor or as a nonprofit. And if you make at least $1,000 in 2019, you would qualify to apply for a $5,000 grant. Anything over, if you've made over $100,000 to $1 million, you would qualify for a $15,000 grant. And if you're making between $1 million and 2.5, then you can apply for a $25,000 grant. But this grant is capped at 2.5. So if you made more than that, you can't apply. But if you made more than that, congratulations. The other thing that I want to make sure that everyone knows, because people keep asking me, you had to have been either in business or as an independent contractor, or have your own business, or have your own 501c3 status as a nonprofit by June 1st of 2019 in order to qualify to apply. The number one question I receive is if we applied for one of the California relief grants in rounds 1 through 6, can we apply again? The answer is no. There's one grant per organization, per individual, or per business. And if you did receive one already, again, congratulations. We're working on this. I'm trying hard with Julie's support to get this information out to any arts related networks. It is obviously, well, maybe not so obviously, it is open to any small business, any individual independent contractor, and any nonprofit. Because Californians for the Arts focuses on arts, we're focusing on the arts, but it's actually open to others as well, just so you know. I think that's the main thing I want to make sure you let you know. I'll drop in the chat, if Shira hasn't already, the link to our website. I have a huge amount of information on there, including pre-recorded webinars, webinars to sign up for, and a giant list of frequently asked questions. And if you have any questions now, I'm happy to answer them. You can just type them into the Q&A.
Yeah, so please ask away. I don't see any questions in the Q&A right now. But if you are an independent creative, if you are a hairdresser, if you are an architect, if you are a tattoo artist, if you are a creative and you are a business, if you have filed and you filed your Schedule C when you filed your taxes, you can apply for this grant and get the money. So if you have any questions, and if anything, let me see in the chat if there's anything. Are fiscally sponsored projects eligible?
Unfortunately, no. Fiscally sponsored projects are not eligible. I also just typed in my email. Feel free to email me. Any questions at all around the California Relief Grant, please email me directly. I can take those, and then if you have any of the questions around the things that Julie spoke of earlier, she also typed in her email previously.
So the fiscally sponsored project, are you an independent organization, or are you just a group that has a project? Because if you are an organization have filed your taxes as an organization, as a for-profit, you probably could apply. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Usually the fiscal sponsor only applies to small nonprofits who haven't filed their status yet because of 501c3.
Okay, no, she's saying she's a project. Are there any other questions on this We share the information. You can learn more at Californians for the Arts California Relief Grant. Please reach out to them if you have not gotten your money, get your money, because that's not going to last for very long. And I'm just going to recap a lot of what happened until the questions come through. So right now there's the grants that are coming through California state. Probably in the next little bit in the fall, we're going to get a round of grants that are going to come from the city. But in the meantime, we should be advocating also the county, because the county has funds. And if the county doesn't hear from us, they're just going to do whatever they want with the money. So we have to reach out to them. So use the little cheat sheet I made to reach out to them and let them know, hey, we're struggling, or hey, the creatives could use this. Use your own words to kind of help promote that. And that's about it. I don't see any further questions here or there. So I'll give it a couple more minutes. Does anybody else here from our panelists have any questions? And I'm going to stop sharing and so we can see all our panelists. Does anybody here have any questions? No? Yenny, are you going to apply, Yenny? You're muted. So Yenny is one of our Atrium artists. I'm gonna, let me unmute you. Can you unmute you?
Yep, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, the Schedule C. So I'm not sure. I had to check with my accountant.
But yeah, Schedule C would be like that. If you registered your you as a business, then you should have a Schedule C. So just look at your tax returns.
But I think he combined it with the properties that we have. So I don't know if that's gonna work. You know
All
what I mean?
right. Yeah. So just reach out to Tara.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it probably won't be a problem.
No? Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Great information. She submitted it. Okay, great. Well, I think that's it. And we have 2 minutes to spare, and that's pretty awesome. So if anybody has a question here for Debbie, for Tara, for Tia, or myself, please. And if you haven't yet, you can sign up on the Atrium to join our creative community, because then you'll get an email about all different kind of programs and things that are happening. So you'll be in the know of what's going on. We have over 570 local Sacramento artists that are with us as part of our creative community. So feel free to join. And we're all about support. And you are always, always, always welcome to come and hang out at our retail space. We have a community gathering space where you can come bring your own art, make your own art, hang out with us, play our piano. We're all about just collaboration. Okay, somebody sent their application 3 months ago. Oh, Aisha sent. So people that weren't accepted in a previous round will now be considered in this round. Is that correct, Tara?
It depends on your status. I would need to know a little bit more detail. So if you drop me an email, I will look into that for you. If you've applied in a previous round and gotten a grant through this particular grant, the California Relief Grant, you are not eligible to get funded secondarily in this one. Someone else in the chat also just asked, will the funding this fall be available for businesses established after June 1, 2019? The answer is no. This particular funding, the California Relief Grant, you had to have been in business for June 1, 2019. I do not know the details yet on the funding that we're working on through the state. I don't think they've published those specifics yet.
Okay, cool. Information on the Atrium studio space. Edda, just go to our website and under programs, there'll be co-working space. Click on there and there'll be an application. Woohoo, go Edda. And then to apply for tax exempt status. Debbie, does your organization help with tax exempt status kind of application for that?
We can find you the resource to do it, but if you go to the Secretary of State's office, they'll have very, very clear instructions. So it's sos.ca.gov. And, but please feel free to register and do an intake on our Women's Business Center. Tell them specifically what you're looking for in terms of trying to file for your nonprofit status. And even to the degree that you may want to sign up for our legal clinic. The attorney that works with us on our legal clinic may be able to help you as well.
Okay, I got a couple of questions in the Q&A. Will the funding be available this fall, available for businesses established? Oh, you just answered that one, Tara, right? That was answered. Janine, you've gotten California relief grant already. Are there any other opportunities right now? Well, no, unless you had already applied for the NEA grant, no, but there are going to be the grants that are coming out from the city. So if you already got your California relief grant, then hang tight and get things ready for the grants that are going to come from the city. And hopefully if we advocate enough from the county. And then if you live in like Elk Grove, if you live in Citrus Heights, and these are other cities that are here, advocate to those cities. Everybody's getting these ARP funds. Okay, and if we are not going, no, we need these funds, it's going to go to somebody else, because police officers, as much as they do need the funds and things like that, and the firefighters definitely need the funds, but they have paid lobbyists there all the time. We don't. So the only thing that we can do is just send out these emails going, hey, you know, we're struggling, because the creative sector has been the hardest hit during COVID. And we still can't get out of it because now Delta has come back. You know, now we've got Delta and we can't really reopen. And what are we doing? And we have to hire more people with less money. And these are things that you need to tell them so they know. Brandon, thank you for the information. I was wondering about the studio space. Yes, Brandon, just apply. Go to our website under programs. There'll be co-working. Click on that and there'll be an application there. Just click on the buttons and there'll be an application. If not, email me. I'm going to share my email in the chat. You can always email me. Sometimes it takes me a while to get back to emails. I get like 200, 300 a day, but I eventually will get to you. If not, please nag me, reach out to me. I am available to everybody. This is my email here. Are there any other questions that I am missing? So this we got to, this we got to. I think that's it. I think we got to everybody. Thank you, everybody. It's on 7:03, only 3 minutes over. Thank you to everybody for being here. Thank you, Tara. Thank you, Tia. Thank you, Debbie, so much. I think this is, oh, thank you, Debbie, for sharing that. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. And reach out to me if you need anything. I'm here for you. Okay, bye.
Thank you, Sheila.